got this, right? It's proof that I'm doing this. Okay. The dreaded plank. This is when 30 seconds actually feels like 10 minutes. Cheer on, guys. Come on, can we go down here? I don't want to go over my 30 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, why are you guys so surprised? You guys did get up this morning and do your 10 push-ups and your one plank? You didn't get the memo from Health Canada? Clearly you didn't. I want to tell you a story. Easter this year, as most Easters, we go to my mother-in-law's. My mother-in-law, Orthodox, we're Catholic. My mother-in-law loves to feed everybody. I don't know, this year was a beautiful Easter. We all gathered at my mother-in-law's house. And as most of you probably did at Easter, we overate. We stuffed ourselves with ham, eggs, potato salad, pasta and kulich, very famous Orthodox dishes for Easter. And then at about 3 o'clock, we loaded everybody up into the van and we decided to drive back home. And on the drive home, I said to myself, ooh, I need to get out for a run after this. Oh, but this is pathetic, I can barely move. So when I get home, I run up to my room, throw on my shorts, throw on my t-shirt, and as I'm about down the stairs in the front hall, looking for my shoes, child number 3, 16-year-old Max, says, hey Mom, where are you going? So Max, I'm gonna go for a run. I think I'm gonna feel better if I go for a little 5K. And he says, well, hey, can I come too? So I won't lie, I was pretty surprised. More surprised because Max, child number 3, is my least athletic of my 4 kids. Hey, don't get me wrong, he's very active. He loves his jazz band, he loves his theater. But Max, running, pretty unlikely. But I'm not gonna deter him. So sure, go get changed. I'll happily wait for you. So off he goes looking for shorts. And as I'm waiting in the front hall for Max to come up and put on his shoes, in comes in child number 2, Alex, 19-year-old. He spent all morning working at the restaurant cooking for the brunch. And he says, you guys going for a run? I'm like, yeah, we're going for a run. Oh, do you want to wait for 5 minutes? I'm just going to go quickly get changed and I'm going to join you guys. And of course, I'm not going to say no to more company in my job. So off he goes downstairs, gets his stuff, and as we're getting ready, we're chattering, and child number 4, Elizabeth, 12, in her bunk, says, hey, where are you guys all going? I'm like, we're going for a run. Well, can I come too? I'm like, yeah. This surprises me, not because Elizabeth is not an exercise junkie like I am. She loves stuff like that. But I'm more surprised because Elizabeth is a 4'0" 12-year-old who thinks she's going to run with her 6'3" brothers. Thinking, okay, this is going to be very interesting. I'm not going to discourage that though. Sure, go ahead, get ready. We'll be right here. We'll be waiting for you. So now in my very small room, at my small doorway, all of us are piling up, putting our running shoes on, and off we go. We go running down the streets, and you remember Easter, it was beautiful, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we had that nice sunshine, and I was beaming as a mom, right? I was super proud, man. These kids, I didn't pay them to come with me. No, they came because they wanted to come. They came because they chose activity over inactivity. Now I was proud, right? That was awesome. Oh, I forgot to introduce myself, didn't I? I'm Chantal Von Shoenberg. You're probably wondering why these organizers picked me to be your guest speaker, right? Now you're thinking, what were they thinking? We got this crazy lady in front who clearly loves organizing exercise groups and who clearly has no problems moving. As a matter of fact, I'm not just able, I'm super able. Yeah, I'm almost 50 and I can do a double sow and an axle on figure skates. I mean, I run 10K before breakfast for fun. What can I possibly teach you guys about exercise an inability or disability? What do I know, right? Well, I'm also a physiotherapist. And as a physiotherapist, I've devoted my life and my profession to helping people just like yourselves get moving. I love my career. I'm passionate about my career. I've taken people in my life from this to this in a walker to this. And I enjoy that. And I didn't do it by making them run a 10K in the morning. I didn't do it by making them do 10 push-ups before they had breakfast. I did it by slowly getting them to get moving. Of course, in Canada, we have the benefits of Health Canada, who gives us great statistics on why we should be doing exercise. It tells us that physical activity is associated with a reduced risk of over 25 chronic diseases or conditions, such as heart disease, hypertension, type 2 diabetes, osteoporosis is a big one. I'm not going to name all 25 of you, I'll have to know. We also know, let's face it, right? We also know that individuals with disabilities are more likely to be sedentary. You are more likely to be at risk of diseases and complications. You're less likely to be involved. You're less likely to want to participate. Recently, statistics are showing us in Canada that more and poor people are unable to move or more disabled. 14.3 of Canadians have a disability within those age ranges. 25% of those adults are in poor health in comparison to 5% of people like myself, where we're more able. That's a huge difference, 25 to 5. And we also know that people with disabilities, only about 3% are likely to do moderate to vigorous activities, and only about 3% actually do recreational activities. It's not very much. It's pretty little. Now, spinal cord injury has been a prominent disability in Canada, and so these people have decided that we need guidelines, and they were great in their research. They decided, hey, you know that 30 minutes a day that we, or 30 minutes for every 3 days that we tell everybody that they should be doing? That's not really fair. That's not fair to those who can't move. There should be new guidelines. So they actually did a lot of research for us, and they went ahead and created new guidelines. Now, yes, these are specific to spinal cord because that's what they restrained their research group to. But it doesn't mean that we can't look at this and say, okay, that could probably apply to me. I can probably look at that and say, that might fit. So let's look at those guidelines. What is it they're telling us? They're telling us, they want 30 minutes of vigorous activity. For you guys, they want 20 minutes. 20 minutes twice a week. Also, they're thinking you should probably strengthen some of those muscles. They're suggesting that twice a week, you do strengthening exercises. As you can see, they want you to do 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps. Now, some of you guys are looking at these guidelines and you're going, woohoo! I'm awesome! I do that. I totally do that. I probably need to do more than that. That means like I'm super going to be healthy. This is so great. I'm so excited. But honestly, most of you guys are looking like this. Most of you guys are going, are you kidding me, lady? I mean, by the time I get up in the morning, get dressed and go have breakfast, I feel like I've done a half marathon, and you're asking me to do 20 minutes of vigorous activity? How am I supposed to do that? That's what you're asking yourself. That's impossible. How am I going to get 20 minutes in? Right? Well, you know, as a physiotherapist, what I've come to see is that there are more benefits than just the cardiovascular reduction of disease. Sometimes before you get to this, sometimes before you get to the 20 minutes twice a week, or to the 3 reps twice a week, there's other benefits as you get there. What do you think the #1 benefit? I think it is. This is not research. This is me, 15 years as a physiotherapist. I'll tell you what the #1 thing that improves. Did I switch it already? Uh-oh. Did I miss it? Oh, no, here it is. Number one benefit as a physio that I see. When you get moving, what else gets moving? Right? Those bowels. Okay? It's not showing up on research. Pretty hard to measure. Okay? Some of the stuff is pretty hard to measure. But I can tell you, every time I get somebody moving, so do the bowels. And I'm happy about that. That's very embarrassing. Yeah, it's very embarrassing, but I don't mind because I know that you're going to feel so much better at the end of the day because there is nothing worse than the plumbing that doesn't work. My mom recently was on the phone with me. My mom lives in Montreal. She's in her mid-70s. And she was talking to me the other day. She goes, yeah, I just can't get those bowels to move. I'm feeling so bloated. She goes, I do everything right, honey. She goes, I drink water, I eat vegetables, and I eat so many fruits. I sleep well. I don't eat too much cheese. Oh, what's wrong with you? What do you think is wrong, honey? And I say to her, Mom, do you think you're sick? She goes, I don't know, maybe there's something really wrong. I said, Mom, I'd recommend something to you. Why don't you go out this afternoon and have a little walk? She goes, yeah, come on. You're not going to tell me that walking is going to fix everything. And I'm thinking, you know what? It's beautiful outside. I know you like walking. What do you have to lose while you wait for your colonoscopy? Okay, what do you have to lose, Mom? All right, honey. I'll do this for you. Sounds like a great idea anyway. So we hang up. Off she goes, and 3 hours later I get the phone call. Guess what she says? How did you know my bowels would move if I walked? That is amazing. I feel so much better. I feel so great. And I'm thinking, wow, that didn't take much, did it? Okay? Kind of an embarrassing topic, but it's also a reality check. Okay? You're going to feel so much better if you get moving. Let's move on to less embarrassing topics. Okay, have you ever heard of the expression motion is lotion, or as the French will say, grouille ou rouille? Right? Now we're talking about your joints. Again, very difficult to measure, right? How do I know you're improving? Well, you know you're improving. Well, I did it again. Oh no, that's a good one. You know you're improving. Because you know what, even if you don't have active movement in some of your joints, passive movement is also very, very good. All of those, you guys all have wheelchairs and walkers. You're going to tell me that you would ignore the rust building up on your wheels that wheels doesn't turn properly? Would you actually do that? Would you ignore it, or would you actually call Shoppers Home Health and say, hey, can you help me out? I've got some serious rust issues on these wheels and it's preventing me from moving. You wouldn't, right? So why would you ignore your joints? I don't get that. Move your joints. So what? You can't move them actively. Move them passively. And you see, you'll feel so much better. Just by moving your joints, you will have a decreased inflammation. You'll have decreased buildup of stuff in your joints that makes pain worse. Okay? Very simple. What else? Oxygen. How many of you guys here complain of fatigue? Huh? Fatigue? Probably your number one problem after the bowels. It's a huge issue. I'm always tired. Okay? But we also know that one way to improve fatigue or to diminish how tired you are is by oxygen intake. You move a little bit, you take deeper breaths, get more oxygen in, especially up to the brain, you're going to see a difference. More oxygen to the brain wakes you up. That's how the brain works. Okay? You don't have to move very much to feel better, to feel a little bit more energized. Now, improved energy levels. That's another huge benefit of exercise, moving. And I get a little stuck, or I get a little nervous when I say you should exercise, because I don't know, exercise has this sort of stigma to, the fancy shoes, the fancy Lululemon top. And we think of exercise, we think we gotta join the Paralympics. That's not what I mean, and that's why I tend to use the word move instead of exercise, because I think we're kind of scared when we use the word exercise. I prefer using the word move. If we move, if we get moving, you'll see your energy levels will actually go up. It's a weird kind of fatigue moving, isn't it? Some of you guys who've experienced getting moving, you think, okay, I'm tired, but this is a good kind of tired. Yeah, this is a tired when I know I did something. And maybe it's not immediate. Maybe you're not feeling great 3 hours after. But if you start moving, you'll start feeling great over time. And over time, you're going to see that your depletion here is actually going to get a little bit better, and a little bit better, and a little bit better, and a little bit better. And again, let me reiterate, you do not need to be a Paralympic athlete to get excellent energy levels. You just need to get moving. Okay? I have a young man that I work with. He's 21. Out of the 206 muscles that he can move in his body, only 5 actually work. All right? Not very many. His 2 fingers, his forearm, and his wrist. That's all he's got. He tells me all the time, oh, I love this weather. It's great. I get to go walking along the canal. I get to sit around, people watch, see the birds. I feel so amazing. This guy didn't go bench press 110 pounds. He went out and he moved. Sure, he moved with his electric chair, but he still moved. And our definition of moving is different for everyone. We all suffer from different disabilities. And that's not going to be the same for everybody. Another benefit of moving is improving your moods. Nothing improves a mood better than getting out to move. Would you agree with that? If you move, you'll actually have improved moods. People smile more. The other benefit is if you get out moving into a recreational activity, and I'll give you an example. It doesn't exactly have to be exercise. Let's say you have MS and you actually have a walker, and you go down to the Jack Purcell, they have a painting booth there on Monday nights. You get all the way there, you do some painting, and you come back. That's moving, and guess what you do at the same time? You get to meet new friends. You get to make new friends, which improves your quality of life. Now, maybe not everybody's into making new friends, and that's fine, but that's one of the benefits of it. Lastly, one of the things that I see often by people just moving is the sense of empowerment. It's unbelievable how much more empowered we feel when we start moving. And it doesn't matter if it's from sweeping the floor to going out and canoeing. The minute you start moving, you will feel more empowered. Now, most of you today are here not because you didn't know that. You knew that moving, you know at the back of your mind that if you get moving, if you get exercising, you know you're gonna feel better. That's not the issue. The biggest issue is how. How do I get out there and do I move? How do I get out there if I feel like I'm exhausted by the time breakfast starts? How do I get out there if I have so much pain and I feel like I'm going to have that much worse of my pain when I'm done? How do I get out there if I can't afford the basic equipment? How do I get out there if I'm not motivated enough? That's the question. The question is the how, not the why. You know why. Many of you don't know how you're going to do it without getting injured. Many diseases, we all, especially with MS, many diseases, but MS included, or specifically MS, what happens with exercise? What do we tell you? Be careful, because if you do too much, you're going to get worse. Have you heard that? Right? So how do I know what's too much? How do I know what I need to do to reach those goals? Maybe those guidelines. How do I know what's good for me? That's the question I think that most people have. You guys know what's good for you. You know, we all know what's good for us. Even the biggest couch potato knows that moving is better than not moving. More is better than not enough. So it's not about the why, like I said, it's about the how. And today, you are lucky because you're being exposed to some, and it really is just some. I've been around Ottawa, and I know what's out there for persons with physical disabilities. There is so much out there. Everything from amazing sidewalks to amazing facilities, to groups, to culture groups. We are out there. There's a huge, huge network of health professionals like myself who are devoting ourselves to help you get moving. We're happy to do this. I'm happy to do this today, to give you this talk on a beautiful Sunday. I want to be here. I want to tell you the good news that, you know, if you get moving, you're going to feel better. Ottawa's great. Now, I know after this terrible winter, you guys are going, hey lady, where were you? I know, it's hard. Ottawa in that sense, because of the weather, the long, long winter, it's difficult. But I've been to many, many, many cities around the world, and I can tell you this is one of the best cities for persons with physical disabilities. The amount of accessibility everyone has here is incredible. In my opinion, there's absolutely no excuse for you not to get out there. Whether you like gardening, cinemas, whether you like skiing, downhill skiing, whether you like canoeing, there is absolutely everything. What you need to do is connect yourself and figure out, answer those questions, or have people answer those questions of how. How do I do it without getting injured? How do I do it so that it fits my need? How do I do it so that my budget doesn't get blown? There's tons of subsidized activities here. I find all the time new activities that people can do at a low cost. So there's no excuse. You just need to get out and you need to start moving. What I'd like to also say is you want you to get away from the able and enable. Is it really that I am more able than you are? Or is the difference is that we're both able, you have limitations and I have less limitations? Because there's no such thing as I can't. You can always move. You just have to figure out how. It can be anything, just as long as you're moving. Thank you.